Hey guys, it's Racing Rick. So you just bought iRacing and are now wondering how to get started? I will show you in this video what you need to look out for and how you get going in iRacing. So this right now is the iRacing GUI. So from here you can join races, do practice, basically do everything in a nice UI. To start a race, you basically go to Go Racing, obviously, and see what's coming up next. Have a quick glance at what you can drive. You can see now on the right side, the green ones are ones that you can register for, where you have all the content and everything required to start the race. And where it says purchase, then of course, you need to purchase some stuff to be able to join. If you just click on the series, you can see every session that is open. So for example, you have race sessions, ones that are currently running and ones that are coming up. So you see here every half an hour there's a race session, and as well as practice sessions that you can join. Practice sessions don't count to your iRating or your safety rating. So for your first endeavors in iRacing, I would suggest to go into a practice session. Now I would like to quickly go into what you need to look out for when you start a race eventually. And for that, I will go and watch a race session for Global Mazda MX-5 Fanatec Cup. That is basically, if you get into road racing, one of the series that you can run at as a rookie, and one of the series which you can use to improve your rating. Here we are now looking at or joining a lower strength of field with a few rookies. Some of them seem to already have some experience. I mean, you can see if you start with iRacing, you have an iRating, or not an iRating, a safety rating of 2.5. And depending on how good you behave, it either goes up or goes down. So we just joined into a lobby to watch a race. We are now just into qualifying. You can see the guys are running their laps now, trying to get a qualifying lap. You see currently Mike Land is one of the quicker ones. Seems that he is on his second lap. And so basically right now we are just watching a session of rookies, doing their first Mazda races. This is probably when you start iRacing lobby where you will get into. And the most important thing that you need to remember when you start with iRacing is that the most important thing is to finish first. You have to finish first, which basically means in order to win, you would need to make it to the line, because in the lower classes there are often mistakes happening. That doesn't mean the mistakes always need to be from the other guys. They can also be from you, and that's okay. But what I want you to think about is that you don't need to be the absolute fastest every time to be able to be in the front row at the end of the race. It is more important to keep it clean, to keep out of a mess, to keep out of crashes, to stay safe out there, to not run into the grass. And I'll hope that in this race we will be seeing exactly that. It's a long race, 15 laps. As a rookie, 1.5 or more than 1.5 minutes per lap. That means, it's quite some time that you're on track, and quite a long time where mistakes can happen, and they will happen. So My bet would be that someone from the cleaner drivers will end in front, even though they are not technically the fastest drivers. The driver numbers also always reflect the iRating of the guys. For example, Logan here. He's really not the fastest guy out there, but he has the second highest iRating in this lobby. And I will bet that comes from clean driving and finishing races and profiting on crashes and wrecks that other guys have in front of him. I just want you to remember it's not the most important thing to be the fastest, but rather to be consistent and to be clean. So race start will be here soon. Everybody's already revving their engines. One guy misses the start, but let's have a look at the first corner. Maybe from a bit behind. And let's see what happens. If everybody keeps it clean. As I said, that's the most important thing. In front there's already some guys crashing out. So if you started now in the back and you kept it clean and kept out of the mess, you already made up 3 places. And that is something in the rookie classes that happens a lot. And that is something that you need to profit on, basically. Or that is something that you can profit on if you keep it clean. So the number 11 car tries to go for it on the outside, bold move. But he hit the grass, couldn't make it stick. And now the number 7 just tagged him, didn't give him enough space. But that was also, quite a difficult area to start. And some retaliation. Okay, nice one. That is also something that can be seen in rookie classes sometimes, so keep your head out of the mess, I would say. Number 7 seemed to be very unhappy. But his car, it's done for. But in the rookie classes, you have fast repairs. So get back into the pits. For example, for the number 7 car, it's now not that far to go back to the pits. Go to your pit box, select the fast repair, and get the car back on the road again. Of course, might be difficult if the car is as difficult to steer as the number 7 car seems to be, but it's doable. So, but we'll have a look at the incident and see what went wrong, because in my opinion, nobody's really at fault here. It's just a racing incident. Let's look at the incident. Look at the driver from behind. You can see the 7 car in front. And the driver behind seems to be a lot quicker and is looking for his way around the number 7. He sees his chance. As I said, bold move into that corner, but it's not anything that can't be done. And he is holding his line quite alright. And the other guy just seems to, have spun him around, pit maneuvered him without any real reason. And this is definitely without any real reason. So he's going slow. Or, not going slow, but he's not as confident with the car. And on the right side there's the other one, and he loses the rear end of the car a bit. So it was probably also not intentional, it was just a bit unlucky. He lost the rear end of the car. And then he lost his cool. Let's look at that again. Number 11 goes for the move. Number 7 is not quite sure what to do of it. And he touched the brake mid-corner, which leads to oversteer. And then, as I said, his rear end stepped out. He turned a bit in on the number 11 and just, had an accident then. But still, the number 11 car could have easily passed him on the straight. If he would have just, kept a bit out of these tight corners, out of this messy situation, then he could have just easily breezed past by him on the straights. And all of this could have been avoided. Another thing that you can do in these race sessions that you are watching and not really actively participating in, you can go for a test drive. And it's just like in a practice session, you can see everyone around you. You can go out on track and experiment a bit. So you can join these sessions and just drive them as regular cars, use them as practice sessions for yourself, see how you can drive on track, how you can follow other cars. In these sessions you are able to participate just as if you would be a real car in the race, but without the consequences. So this doesn't go to your I rating, this doesn't go to your safety rating, and for example I will show you, you can't touch these cars here. I can go right through them. See? Nothing happens. So you don't need to be scared. You can just go, straight through them without any consequences. Just for you to train a bit, to keep your distance to other drivers. So that is something that I can only advise you to do. Go into a race session as a spectator and hit test drive. Also something to look out for when you start with iRacing is you need to keep away from 17 incident points. So an off-track gives you 1 incident point, and loss of control gives you 2 incident points. So for example, if you spin the car because you go into a corner too hot or you're too eager on the throttle, and hitting another car gives you 4x. You need to consider that when you lightly tap another car, that gives you a 0x, but these small contacts can send the other car off track, or he loses control because of that, and the car you hit receives an incident point, then you receive these incident points too. So for example, you hit another car, give it a light tap, he spins out. First it says 0x, and then you will get a 2x because the other one spun out. I will bet that the guys that kept it clean with the least incident points are the ones that stand at the front of the pack. And now we can have a look. We have 2 guys that got disqualified. So the number 1 car has the least amount of incidents of the drivers that started the race, even though he got into a messy situation at the beginning of the first lap, which led him to go into the dead last position. And in the end, he finished in 2nd place, just because he kept it consistent and kept out of trouble. You can also see highest I rating, the one that is the cleanest driver. So in the end, keeping it clean on track is what is the most important thing. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it was a bit informative at least. It's not important to be the outright fastest, but to be the most consistent. And let me know if you liked the video or have any suggestions. We'll see each other out on track, maybe also racing Rick.
iRacing Rick!